Hi guys, and welcome back to the kingdom. I hope you guys have had positive and productive weeks this week. So this week I'll be showing you how I set up my bullet journal for February 2021. So the theme that I chose this month is the A Court of Thorns and Roses trilogy, and that is because obviously the Nessian book is coming out this month. I'm expecting my pre-ordered copy to arrive on the 16th, and I'm hoping to have this video out on the 16th as well. So at the moment I am taping up what I'm going to paint for the front cover of February, which is going to be themed, as I said, around A Court of Thorns and Roses. I'm really interested and simultaneously worried to see what the Nessian book is going to bring us. Nesta and Cassian were two of my absolute favourite characters in the original trilogy. I have to admit I didn't really get on with Feyre in the same way that I got on with Nesta. I just related to Nesta far more, even though we didn't see very much of her. I'll probably end up doing a reading vlog where I read the book, and another video that I have coming out soon is electrifying A Court of Mist and Fury. I plan on doing some electric magical stuff, and you'll probably see that come out on Thursday, so make sure you keep your eyes peeled for how I'm going to do that particular book makeover with LEDs and leather and all this sort of stuff. Anyway, as you guys can see, I'm using watercolours to do a semi-gradient background of purples and blues, and then I've gone in and redrawn my silhouette on top of a dried background, and now I'm going to go in and paint the stars and the moon and the silhouette in acrylic on top of a dried watercolour base. You will probably see my sleeves and setup changing quite a bit. As you can see, like my mug's changed and things, and that is normally because my bullet journals actually, the setup tends to take a couple of days, just because I find the whole painting process very relaxing and the setup process kind of relaxing, and I do it when I feel like it rather than pressuring myself to do it when I'm not feeling like it. And I find that's way I end up with a result that I use more and enjoy more, rather than feeling pressured to set up something or finish something when I'm just not in it. So at the moment I'm using acrylics and my white gel pen to fill in the stars, and then I'm going to go ahead and fill in the silhouettes. So one of the reasons that I try and keep my covers really simple, so it's silhouettes or abstract concepts rather than realistic concepts, is because I find that otherwise it'll detract from the purpose of the bullet journal, which is actually to be useful and convenient and flexible. And I do treat the covers as my chance to be really artistic and around a book that I love or a theme that I've chosen. But I do also try and keep it simple so that it doesn't seem out of place with the rest of the bullet journal, which I do try to keep as simple as possible or as easy to do as possible. Because otherwise it would look really strange. But in particular this piece I really enjoyed doing. I wasn't sure, as you can see I'm doing the wings now in a slightly different colour. Well, the back wing is a slightly different colour, and that was something that I debated for quite a while, like how I was going to get these two wings that are almost in the same place to look very distinct. But in the end I decided to go with an ever so slightly lighter grey for the back wing so you could distinguish between the two, and I think it's really worked. Here I'm using some of my fabric paints that I normally reserve strictly for my book makeovers, and I'm adding some glitter to the background. Obviously this won't show up when I scan the piece and put it in, but it does mean that the original has this beautiful glittery quality to it, like stars in the background as you can see. And I think it definitely adds something to the original piece. So I'm looking forward to putting that in my scrapbook, and I'll show you guys how I do my scrapbook soon. So I scanned the piece, printed it off using Boots photo printer, and stuck it in, as you guys can see, and that front cover comes back later. Now I'm doing my monthly overview. So on the original covers for the books, I'm not a huge fan of the remade covers, I'll be honest with you guys. To be honest, I don't know a lot of people who are big fans of the remade covers. Even though I think the remade covers are lovely, I just don't think they fit the books, if that makes sense. And I'm such a fan of the original covers that were on this. I think they were fantastic. Anyway, in honor of that white thorny pattern on the black background, that is what I've decided to do. So I'm using some just standard black acrylic paint to fill in the background, and then I'll use white pen over the top to make a thorny design and fill in any more of the details. As you can see, there's a row at the bottom that I didn't use. Originally, I kind of just automatically put in 5 rows for every month. I didn't realise that this month there would only be the need for 4 rows. I probably should have looked at the calendar before I did it. But I'm not mad at it, and actually the extra space has been useful for anything that's a weekly occurrence, or any other notes that I've wanted to add that I don't necessarily want to put in the main character or in the notes section that I've kept on the side. So as you can see, this is quite simple and easy to do, but I think the effect has been really fantastic. And obviously, if you guys end up wanting to try this, then you can totally do as many or as few white vine designs as you want. So here I'm back in with my watercolours to do a very quick colourful background, keeping it the same colours that I used on the main painting that I did on the front. And I find that this is a very quick and easy way to add a lot of colour to particular pieces. So once those dried, I actually went on to some different pages, and I did my habit tracker and my inspiration board. Now, habit trackers are pretty obvious if you've ever seen other bullet journal videos, but this is where I track 6 of my main habits or hobbies that I want to do, or track whether I'm doing, to see how often I'm doing each of them. So we've got piano, sketching, journaling, reading, working out and writing. And then in my inspiration section, I write down inspirational things that or things that are inspiring me, or I print off photographs or artwork that I've seen that inspires me, and it really helps me to keep track of the things that I found interesting or inspiring and see what was kind of going through my head during different creative processes, because I come up with a lot of ideas that I then never take forwards, or I revisit and I wonder, what on earth was I thinking? And I can find that this really helps me to keep track of everything. Now I'm going back here to my writing page. So I've got an edits section, and I've included a wolf silhouette on top of my edits section, obviously because the whole of the A Court of Thorns and Roses book kicks off because Feyre kills a wolf. And I also keep track of the number of words I've written for first drafts. I end up writing a lot, so I do try to write at a minimum 15,000 words a month. Often I do break this goal halfway through, so we'll see where we are at the end of the month. And then on the other page, I've got a motivational quote: dare, dream, discover, as I'm trying to keep my spirits up as I'm going through an editing process for a book of mine, and then the querying process, which can be a little bit disheartening for anyone who's ever tried that. Now I'm doing my weekly overviews. I do keep them incredibly simple and plain. I try not to go too fancy with my weekly overviews because for me they are function rather than fashion, and I try and keep them pretty much the same with maximum room. Now I'm just going back to the front cover and filling in the cream sections. I just felt like it made it took away too much focus from the main image. Then I've gone for a final quote page, and that says, if it doesn't challenge you, it doesn't change you. Yes, it's really cheesy, but to be honest, cheesy is kind of my bag, particularly at the moment when I think everybody could use a little bit more positivity, or at least I could. Yeah, so I'm just filling it in with some standard felt tip pens. Then I added some stars and little speckles and things. And now I'm adding a little tab, so I coloured in some paper black and then used a white Posca paint pen on the top, and then wrote February on top of the artwork. So this is a quick flip through of what my bullet journal will look like and how I use it. As you can see, some of the things, as you can see, I did kind of film this flip through bit a bit after finishing it, because I realised I hadn't filmed a flip through, which is bizarre, but there you go. Anyway, so here is the final flip through inside my planner, and yeah, that's kind of it. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. If you have, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, all of those good things. Comment down below if there's a book theme that you'd like me to try and do in the future. And as always, guys, I hope you guys have positive and productive weeks, and I'll see you next time. Bye!